Come, let us prepare. Make some good profits today. Market left us very, very big clues right here as we are pinned in the moving averages with absolutely beautiful liquidity here. You have to pay very close attention before we wrap up the week, Thursday and Friday. Now remember in yesterday's video, I talked about how there was beautiful liquidity here. We didn't have the opportunity for that inverse head and shoulder pattern as I was talking about. This would be absolutely beautiful, right? We had that right after hours with some news catalyst. And as I mentioned, this was the first time we broke out of that 5-day moving average. Now you see how we were soaking up sellers, isn't it? We didn't have that beautiful structure for after hours, but that's all right. So be it. There's still plenty of opportunities to be making profits. And today, this morning, right at the start of the day, I prepared you. I told you you have to be very careful. This is obvious, right? This is an obvious range, as I was telling you. This was pre-market. 200-day moving average, 5-day moving average. And just take a look. We were retesting it to the penny, trapped within range. So once we no longer have continuation in the range, this is where you stop over trading. If you can help it, you do not trade this. But if you wanted to trade this, you still can do it. Let me show you how. Now, it was at this point, let's see. Now, I didn't annotate today because I was on the go, but I talked about how magenta is doing some work and trying to see if there's a power hour structure to retest 5-day. I typed this right over here at 254, right? So this was 255. Now for Discord, they always round up the minute. So if we see 255, this was typed at 254. Yeah. And those who are familiar with the way Discord works, you would know. So you see magenta already building liquidity here. In fact, it was building liquidity throughout the entire afternoon. And I charted this, and you see how magenta so beautifully on the break just right after I typed that comment. So you see, signals are useless. You have to learn to identify the magenta. You have to learn how to be looking out for this. And that's what I'm doing every single day. So once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You will learn it for yourself. This is a lifetime skill that you can actually learn. You can actually stack up this skill by training every single day. And so this is an absolutely beautiful trade if you manage to catch this. And at this point here, I talked about how it will be up till the QQQ 5-day moving average. And this was at 303 right here. This was 303. I told you to protect. You have to protect by the time we reach that QQQ 5-day moving average. These are contextual clues. And thereafter, we managed to find the liquidity wedge here at 318. I said, do you see the magenta and pink wedge? Magenta and pink, absolutely right there. Look, at 318, which was about here, you could already know where this is going because you have the algorithms penny perfect and helping you to plan what's your next setup. And in this case, there was just absolutely no setup because we already saw the wedge. So if it's not breaking out of the wedge, there is absolutely no trade. You cannot be taking a final 10 minutes trade in the wedge because you just don't have the runway in order to close the strikes or get into the money. That's the beauty of trading 0-day to expiry options. You need something to get into the strike in the final 10 minutes in order for you to have the accelerated profits. So once you identify the wedge, no trade. This was an easy decision that was made 40 minutes before the market closed. So you have to understand. It was here, I think. You have to understand how to be planning ahead using the algorithms and structure to plan ahead and just take a look for yourself. It's penny perfect. So what's your excuse if you are not able to plan a trade ahead? This was beautiful. Now, there are so many clues here that I want to talk about for what to prepare for ahead. Now, if we remain in this range, right, if we remain between the moving averages today, 5-day will start to trend up. This will be the first time since the 5-day started trending down at the start of March. In fact, at the end of February, first time 5-day will start plateauing and trending up. Now, this is only if we remain above 5-day after hours. So pay close attention to that. If the market wants this to continue heading down, it will try to attempt to break down below the 5-day. And by then, that means the 5-day is either plateauing or it may start trending down. So pay close attention to that at open. Now, Discord server members, I will be here tomorrow morning. So I will be running through that with you, but you have to understand this context first, yeah? So if we remain above, the 5-day will start trending up. Now, this is important because I want you to see that there is a very important algorithm here. And I charted this in yellow. You see the yellow? That's actually building liquidity. Today, as we are pinned, it's very controlled selling. So if 5 days starts to trend up, this is where the liquidity is. Now we want to see if there is a possibility that it grabs the liquidity like that. So pay close attention to that. Yeah, if you see it, you cannot unsee it. And how to translate that in the 30-minute chart, it will be when you see 5 days starting to trend up. And if we are lucky, market is kind, we get a nice inverse head and shoulder pattern there in order to break out of it. Now remember, we are still in the cup formation. Do you see that? It's still a cup formation. We just lack the continuation structure. And you see that it is still within the buying of the orange here. So you want to see if this breaks out to the 200-day and break out of that structure right there. Now you can use orange as your risk to rewards ratio in the 30-minute chart, but the best is if we break out of that 200-day moving average of that green algorithm instead of the orange right there. So pay close attention to that. All right, so this will be the first time that 5-day may be trending up after so long. So pay close attention. This is a very important information here. Now, in the event that we don't, 5-day continues to trend down, we retest the 5-day moving average, you are not surprised as well, because you do see as well, yeah, this is absolutely beautiful, isn't it? And I want to chart the blue. You see the blue appearing now as I charted the blue. This is just absolutely beautiful. 5-day can still trend down, as I mentioned. So pay close attention to 5-day, whether it's trending up or trending down tomorrow at open, right? And throughout the entire day as well. This is very important, right? Because this liquidity was being built here, and we are technically, as I mentioned, still in that selling continuation, right? Whether it's in magenta, or if it wants to continue selling, it can sell in that orange. And ultimately, on the break of all these major bearish control, you want to see the stronger green with them breaking down as well. There's another liquidity level here as well. So pay close attention here if it wants to head down right there. Important, very important levels. Yeah, so pay close attention to all these levels. Maybe a very tight wedge. If the market is kind, we get the tight wedge until market opens before we have a resolution on the breakout, and we can take a breakout during market hours. But otherwise, another larger wedge here for the end of week. So this one is a little bit more troublesome. But by then you will see 200-day, 5-day already within the middle of the range. So breaking out of these two zones will be absolutely beautiful as well. So pay close attention to that. Otherwise, gather clues for next week. So very importantly, remember, in the midst of it, find profits in the charts. Plenty of profits to be found. You just have to catch a trade like that, for example, and you're done for the day. Or even a trade like that. I think this was also quite straightforward with the orange algorithm, if you learn to identify it, isn't it? So there are plenty of trades, even if you miss this initial drop here. Now by then, I am sure you would have already identified the magenta, and you would see that beautiful trade here, isn't it? See this trade here on the way down as well with beautiful precision. So if you were charting right in the morning, this would have been a beautiful trade with a clear target of 5-day moving averages. But otherwise, focus on finding profits in the charts, and if you're struggling, my challenge to you is this. Just take one trade a day. That's all you need. And this is 6.5 hours. If you have 6.5 hours to wait for one trade, would you wait for clearer structure or more algorithms to show you the picture before you start forcing a trade? Because some of you blow your count before 10 a.m. even land. And you know that that's a big problem. So that's the thing about the algorithms, right? It starts to teach you how to prepare for your next trade. And when you are able to have that finesse, have that aptitude to be able to plan for the next trade to the penny, then you will have that patience to wait, because now you trust your own setups. Now, the reason you struggle is because you have no means of a stackable way of learning a skill to build that sort of aptitude to prepare for a setup. You follow signals, you follow indicators that makes no sense, and that's why you cannot stack up the skill. But this is different. You see me do it, it's almost the same every day, and this is one way of knowing that it's consistent for you to stack up your skills. That's the point behind this, right? So stay focused, and I'm telling you, if you're struggling, look for one trade a day, get it done, and you call it a day. I promise you, you will see massive improvement after 1 month if you listen to me. All right, so thank you very much for watching. And as I always tell you, stop losing money. If you don't know what you're doing, stop trading. Learn, study, paper trade. It's free, right? And watch all my videos. It's free on YouTube. So do that first. If you cannot even master the basics, what makes you think, in what world your ego tells you that you can beat the market? So take it one step at a time. Stop wasting money, right? Stay focused. You got this. See you closer to opening bell.